Bit of a different type of video today. I've been getting sent some questions after you lot asking about tripods, so I figured I'd show what I started with and what I've done since then. So I started with this Velbin CX300. I didn't actually buy it. I was asking my parents about it before because they passed it on to me, and they got it given to them just before my brother was born. So this is like 30 years old and it still works. It's not the most stable of tripods, but depends on what you're doing, it is good, and it got me started. All the legs on this one are attached to the center pole, and there's like 2 extension bits. The bottom ones are really thin, so they're like the least stable. Then it's slightly thicker, and then slightly thicker again. But that's just because they all slot into each other. And then it's also got the center column, which I've actually broken, so it doesn't stay up anymore. But that's not very stable anyway, so I never use that. So I'd say the good thing about this kind of tripod is they're pretty cheap. I had a quick look online before I came down, and this was like 20 to 30 pounds on Google, so it's quite a good entry level one. If you've been watching this channel for a while, this is one I've taken skiing with me because it fits on the ski list pretty well. That's pretty much the only time I actually use this one, just because it's small, it's light, and it works. And then after that one, I got the Manfrotto 055X prob, and it's got a pan and tilt head on it. I think this is designed more for videos, but I quite like it for the photography things. I find it's quite easy to manipulate it into however you want it. So you can go from landscape to portrait just like that. You can spin it around, you can go up and down, and it's just really quick to use. It's also got a spirit level on here, so if you're doing many panoramas, this works really well because you can adjust the legs. So similar to that last tripod, there's 2 columns. I've stood on this quite a few times, so it's quite squeaky and quite hard to get out sometimes. But like on the last one, that's the thinnest section, and it gets thicker. So whenever I adapt it to the whatever height I need it, I tend to get rid of the smallest one first, just because the thicker legs are more stable. But one of the good things about this one is all the legs are independent. So say this was a rock, you can level it all out, level the top of the tripod out, and you got a level solid base really easily. You can also move it up and down with that, and when all the legs are extended, this goes up to eye height for me, and then that extra bit takes it above your head. So I found this one pretty ideal. The main downside is the weight. I'm gonna have to Google that. It's not heavy, but you know it's there. Once you've got this, got all your gear, then you definitely feel it on your back. If I remember right, this was about £150, maybe 200. I think it was on a sale when I got it. And this is made out of aluminium. You can get carbon fibre versions, which are, I think they're pretty much designed the same, but the material's a lot lighter, which means they're like massively different in weight, but they're like 10 times as expensive. I'm sure the ones I looked at were around £1,000, and I personally would just rather get stronger legs than spend that kind of money. If you can afford it, then go for it, but it wasn't worth it for me. The other thing I like about these is, see this top bit here? You can fit a quick release plate in there. You can just quickly attach the camera using that plate. That just clips in like that, locks into place, and then it's ready to go. I tend to have them on all of my cameras, so you can just swap it around really easy, and it takes seconds. It depends on how you shoot, but I use a tripod for pretty much all of my landscape photography. Like you're seeing then, it doesn't take long to set up, and it just means you can use a lower ISO, a longer shutter speed, and it just gets you a better quality image in my opinion. Also gives you more time because you can fine tune the composition, and then once it's ready you just wait for the light to come. So I would say that's worth the investment. I've had this 4 or 5 years. They don't make this one anymore, but I can see me having it for just as long again. And then the other one that I use is the Gorilla Pods. I sometimes use this for the vlogging, so I'll put that camera onto this and you can put it out in front of you a bit further, or like we were saying with that, if you're on a rock or something. So if you're on level ground, you can move these legs around and it adapts to it. So it's quite good if you're down on the beach and you want to get like a low level shot. The main downside to these is you're limited to that. So if you've got something that's high up around you, so say there's a big post here, you can put this on top and you can get high level shot. But if there's no post around, like you're down on the beach surrounded by sand, then you're pretty limited. But these are really handy, and I think I always have this in my bag. I don't always use it, but it's light enough that you don't know it's there. That's only like a few grams. So it's got the quick release plate on like the big tripod, so it's really quick and easy to just clip in and go. So yeah, it's a good addition, and I don't think it was too expensive. It's probably the same price as this, to be honest. I'm not sure what I'd choose between them two though. I'd say that's more useful. I'd probably go with the bigger tripod over this, but it depends on what you're using it for. No, you don't have to use a tripod. A while back, I was doing a lot of video of hedgehogs and I wanted to get down to their level, and for some reason I forgot I had this, and I made one with a plank of wood and I stuck a ball head on, which is similar to this, and it just meant you could level off the composition and get down to eye level with the hedgehogs. I made a video on that one. I'll link that and put a clip of it onto this video so you can see it there. I would say if you do that kind of thing, people definitely comment about it. I only use that at home, but even on the video I said I was doing it just for at home for that one use, and then people still said about how you're going to carry that around and it's not very practical, but it had one job and it did it well. So I wouldn't worry about what other people think. If it works, then it works. At the moment you're on a chair with 2 planks of wood, and if I didn't tell you that, you'd have probably thought it was on a tripod. So yeah, that's basically my experience with tripods. I personally think they're worth getting something decent, because you'll buy it once, and I use that pretty much every day. I guess it depends how much you shoot. this is my job, so any like small thing that makes life easier is worth it, in my opinion. And I can't really think of many downsides. You get used to the weight. It's just the money side of things, which is always annoying with photography, but there's often like a DIY solution to most of them. But I hope you found that helpful. That's just my 2 cents on like what I've used. There's loads of options out there, but you don't always need to get the most expensive one. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to head down to the beach, so we'll probably have a behind the scenes video next, and I'll see you next time.